Oi, oi, and welcome to the Orient Outlook podcast, sponsored by Cal Langley Florist, with myself, Stephen Nussbaum, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend, my South Stand chum, the bearded legend, the one and only, the daddy-o. It's Mr. Paul Levy.
Thank you very much indeed. Hello everyone, welcome back. This is episode 424, and thanks to everyone who took the time to tune into last week's show, and also for Don Ballard for giving up part of his time to have a chat with us last week. Hope you found that informative. This week it's just one game to review, bit of a nothing game, but we'll go through some of the highlights of that and a bit of a roundup of what's happened in the last 7 days at Leyton Orient Football Club. So without further ado, let's crack on, and as always we start with a word from our podcast sponsor.
We certainly do. The podcast is sponsored by Cal Langley Florists, who are based in Chingford and have served the borough of Waltham Forest and the surrounding area for over the last 70 years. They've got a fantastic team there. They can do anything that you need, specialising in anything from bespoke wedding events, family funeral tributes, birthdays, anniversaries, Easter, Passover, you name it, they will do it for you. And they offer all OS fans and staff 15% off, which is a lovely saving. So if that sounds like a plan to you, you can get in touch with the team by giving them a call on 0208 529 4130. You can go have a look at their website, www.carollangley.co.uk, or you can find the team on social media. They're on Instagram at Carol Langley Florist. They can be found on Twitter at Carol Langley E4, or you can find the team on Facebook as well. They can be found under Carol Langley Florist.
So let's just update you with one piece of travel business from the Supporters Club. We're off to Wigan on Thursday, the 2nd of April. That game has been moved in case your calendars haven't updated. That is Thursday, the 2nd of April, moved from Good Friday. Kickoff is 7:45. Coaches are departing at 12:30 from the Supporters Club, and that is free travel because thankfully the club are paying for them. So huge kudos to the club there. To book for that trip or any of the remaining trips for the rest of this season that are away, the Supporters Club do run them, as you know by now. Call the Supporters line on 07507 539 579.
All right, we mentioned it in last week's show. We're going to mention it again. You can leave comments on our Spotify page by the episode. So in the last 7 days, I just want to say a bit of a thank you to Dave Danu, who left us a comment, and to Mark for their comments on Spotify this week. So if you are listening on Spotify, please go leave a comment against the show. We'll give you a reply back, and we'll also shout you out in the next podcast.
One piece of buy me a coffee business here as well. So thanks to Marcus and Dave M, who very kindly supported us this week. Very, very much appreciated. In case you've missed this, we are on Buy Me a Coffee. So if you're looking to support a local podcast producer, content producers like ourselves, it's a quick, easy and cost-effective way of supporting us. You can do it as a one-off, or if you're inclined to do it on a monthly basis, just a £5. It's just the price of a cup of coffee, which is what it costs. Certainly where I could get my coffee from in London. So yeah, very much appreciated. Thanks Dave, and thanks Marcus.
Great stuff. Right, moving on to the week that was. We don't foresee this to be a very long episode, so we'll see how we get on here on Outlook Podcast Towers. Happy Monday, 23rd of March in the evening. The exclusive Forever Orient full shirt, including names of all its members for next season, was revealed at the Supporters Club to a selection of Forever Orient members. There was a bit of chatter around it around social media. There was obviously an embargo on the picture because no one was putting up the pictures until the following day, which we'll come on to now.
Yeah, absolutely. Looked rather good. I thought looked rather good. Tahué Tuesday, the 24th of March. After the fourth kit was revealed the previous evening, the club posted a picture of the kit, which is made by our next season's kit provider, Maber.
You saying you like it, yeah?
Yeah, I think it. I mean, it reminded me of a darts player's shirt, to be honest with you, but that's not a negative comparison. I liked it.
Yeah, me too. I liked it. I like the colour. I like the collar as well. You know me. The last couple of years, yeah.
Not a round collar.
Round collars, if done well. I hate a V collar on a football shirt, but I mean this is a pre-season pod point. But as a starting point, I thought it was good. So I think it obviously means that probably next season's second or third shirts aren't going to be black or dark. You would imagine. That the first kit is obviously going to be red. I think currently, what is it? You have a green second kit and this crazy blue colour third kit. So interesting to see kind of what they all look like. Obviously, it's E-Steel. It's probably one worth pointing out. So it looks like E-Steel will be our sponsors next season. But starting point, I really liked it. I could easily wear that to a match and be happy wearing it. Obviously, I'll be looking out for our names on it. which are on
Printed,
that. So,
but I wonder where we're going to wear 4 kits though.
well, they did say it's not going to be a competitive kit, so you ain't going to be seeing that kit for a competitive match.
Right.
In the blurb.
So that'd be pre-season friendlies, I'd imagine.
I think maybe even one pre-season
behind closed
friendly.
doors, maybe. But otherwise, is that going to be part of their, in speech marks, uniform for travelling, for example? Do you think?
I think ultimately it's just a way to get more people to sign up to Forever Orient.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ultimately,
yeah.
For what it is.
But to call it a 4th kit must have some relevance.
Yeah, I mean, again, one maybe for the fans forum that we'll come on to shortly, where it will be asked. We had a lot of views on it. We kind of went out to the fan base on our social accounts and asked people what they were thinking of it. Crime to Courtroom said really nice. Looking forward to seeing the first, second, and third shirts for next season.
PM 31970 said it looks like a black version of Stevenage's kit to me.
It did a little bit. I went and looked at Stevenage's kit after I saw that comment. Yeah, it's not a million miles away actually. Ed Turns said I really like it. A proper collar. Yes, Ed. And most importantly, compared with the season's away and third kit, the badge stands out. That's a good point. The badge is in red. Stands out. You know what we're looking at? Nice.
Agree. Yeah. Nick Clark Hale said it is a 4th kit, so it's got to be different. I think it looks good. It seems as if the shirt sponsors are extending their sponsorship, which was expiring.
Yeah, good point.
There you go.
Yeah. From what I remember, I think the second and third kits this season both sold really well. So I think you may see a snazzy third kit come through, one that you kind of maybe have to open your eyes at to take it all in.
I distinctly remember the goalkeeper's kit selling out rather quickly.
Yeah, so I mean, we've had it for the past 2 seasons, and I guess one of the whole points of going to Maber were being top dog, right? So we are, I think, their flagship club. I think,
which is great,
which is what you want.
It's just if we sell out of stuff, the ability to restock.
I'd be surprised. I mean, obviously, I think there'll be a lot of talk. I think by the time the shirts get revealed, I think Mr. Devlin or Mr. Tate, Mr. Travis will be back on this podcast and we can ask him lots of questions about it. Tommy Atkinson 6 said really nice shirt. It was a great event too. It was confirmed the full shirt is a commemorative type and for the Forever Orient members. Unlikely to ever get used by the team in a competitive fixture. Maybe a friendly in the summer.
There you go, to your comment earlier. Whitey 1997 LOFC said going to be an expensive year next year if this 4th is anything to go by.
Yeah, I mean maybe you'll see the braces in the third kit this season.
Everyone keeps going on about the braces. Like we've done the braces, like it's been done.
It's historic.
It is historic, but it's been done, and it was done not that long ago. Like I see people commenting like, "Oh, bring braces." Like we've had braces, like.
Yeah, but people love the brace. I mean, you love the Croatia shirt, right? If the Croatia shirt comes, I mean,
they haven't done that.
Here
they
we
did
go.
The Bukta. They did the independent transport nod a couple of years ago. Great, love that.
Yeah,
the braces have been done.
All right,
we'll see. It's been done. Like we can do other stuff. Like
absolutely. But again, it's not. I guess the whole thing with Puma, right, and the whole reason, I guess, why there was a kickback about it, and even with New Balance, the templates, spawned templates, weren't they? So I mean, with Maybach, from what I understand. We can do whatever we want. Yeah. So interesting stuff there. Mr. Russ Mill disagreed. He didn't like it. He said, what a mess. That's got the interns design out of the way. Maybe the real designers can produce a football shirt.
Casey Adams, LOFC, said, would make a fantastic dart shirt.
Absolutely.
Indeed it would.
Yeah, not the last mention of darts in this episode. And G Shaw Zero said, I like it. A good start on the new kits. Should be very easy to improve on this season's offerings. I quite like the home shirt this season. I wasn't that keen on the green one. The blue one, I think, not for me, but I can see why it appeals to people. But I didn't mind the red shirt. I'd say a fair to middling season this season.
Yeah, it's all right. It's a bit vanilla. At least the green and the blue, the away and the third kit, at least there's something. Like, you're either going to like it or you're not. I don't think there's a middle ground on them. Whereas the first kit is like completely inoffensive. It's red. It's plain red.
Always going to be.
With a bit of detail on it. You know what I mean? There's nothing that can put you off of that. Just for me, it's just a bit like, meh, there's loads of others that have been like that. So that's why I got the blue one, to be honest. Later on in that day, on the Tuesday, sticking with Tuesday now, the club announced season ticket pricing for the 26-27 season. Prices increasing by 6% after being flat this current season and available to renew for current holders, with the deadline being Monday, the 4th of May. May the 4th.
Be
for
with
those
you.
Star Wars fans. Absolutely. Views on that?
I guess anytime you see a price increase on anything, right, these days, you're a bit like, oh, really? Yeah. But, I mean, it was flat last year, so if you look at it from that way, you go 3% this season, 3% next season. Yeah. If your man looks at it like that, you go, Fair enough. Could have been worse. Could have been better. But I appreciate it. Obviously, the early bird deal is a no-brainer,
Yeah.
right? Looking at the kind of the prices in the South Stand, I think you save about 50 quid if you do the early bird. So it's a real kind of no-brainer there. It seems like they're really going for Forever Orient. Obviously, we just mentioned you're only getting that full shirt if you're a Forever Orient member.
And you make 3 monthly payment contributions, I believe.
Yeah, you get 15% back in O's cash on Mabel products if you're a Forever Orient member as well, as opposed to not 15% if you're not a Forever Orient member, which I thought was interesting. And they're capping it at 5,000 seats again, or 5,000 season tickets again. So they're going for it. I mean, it feels like it's quite early to be talking about next season, but I guess it's not, right? This time last season, we didn't know where we were going to be. So this season, League One, League Two, 99% is going to be League One, right? So they can kind of get their house in order and get prepping for next season. So for me, not bad at all. So fairly as happy as what I'm ever going to be with a 6% price increase. You?
Everything's gone up.
Yeah.
Like, you can't avoid it. The cost of running the business has gone up. Banking, utilities, electric, gas, water, everything's gone up. It's just a shame that obviously salaries aren't necessarily keeping pace, but 6% is not particularly massive in the grand scheme. It'll be massive to some people. I appreciate that.
Well, if you take a lot of, if you've got a family of 4, so to speak. So Darren, who sits with us, was saying, you know, 1 adult, 1 concession, and 1 under 18. Like, you're almost doing $1,000. Like, it very quickly adds up. For me, I'm lucky I kind of have 1. But if you're a big family or go with a big bunch of people, it's difficult. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't disagree with any of that. And it can add up. And then you want to do shirts and merch and stuff like that.
We get 15% off in OSCA. But, you know, they also do the tiered payment, which is a good idea.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, you can pay off for it. So, yeah.
All right, okay. That is a season ticket done. I imagine the club will put out quite a lot of updates, and it'll be interesting to see whether they get set at 5,000. I imagine they probably
I'm sure they'll be counting.
Will do, absolutely. Club also confirmed in a busy Tuesday that the final League One fixture of the season, which finds us at home to Burton Albion, is going to kick off at 3 p.m. on Saturday, the 2nd of May. So it's good to see end of the season taking place on a Saturday. I think last season it was it a Sunday at Huddersfield? We all went down there.
12:30.
So was that Saturday or Sunday? I can't remember if it was Saturday or Sunday, but yeah, 3 o'clock Saturday, all good. See everyone there.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it was darts night down at Brisbane Road as a fundraiser for the Leyton Orient Trust, including appearances from League One's leading scorer and guest of this very podcast last week, Don Ballard. Will Dennis also was in attendance alongside Simon Royce and Paul Gallagher, with Simon Royce winning the 9-dart challenge with a very decent score of 300.
It's very decent off the back of 9 darts.
He's clearly been practicing. I don't know if Don was continued to practice. He had a dartboard in the background, which no one else could obviously see because it wasn't a video interview that we did, that we published. But Don was trying to get some practice in. I hope he did.
Yeah, and the last piece of news from a busy Tuesday, there was 1 League One fixture played, with Doncaster Rovers beating Port Vale 1-0, which meant the O's slipped down 1 place in League One to 17th in the table.
Wednesday, the 25th of March, another year around the sun for our very own Mr. Steve Nussbaum as he celebrated his birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, mate. 46 years young. All good. Thanks for all the messages from people on social media. It's quite overwhelming, actually, how many there were. So thanks to everyone who sent a message in on Thursday, the 26th of March, to follow my birthday. We say happy birthday to O's manager, a day younger than me, exactly the same age, which depresses me a little bit. I always like, when you're a kid and the managers are old men, and now we're those men, not old men. Happy birthday, Richie, anyway, is what we're trying to say. Hope you had a good one, Mr. Wellens.
Absolutely. And then on Friday, the 27th of March, the club announced it would be holding its fans forum on Monday, the 13th of April. It's going to be live on their YouTube channel from 7 o'clock with Nigel, Travis, Mark Devlin, Steve Tate answering questions submitted to them through the club's website.
All right. And lastly, on Friday, Zek Obiero was in international action for Kenya as he made his senior debut against Estonia in the FIFA Series 2026. And not only that, he provided the assist for Wesley Ogam's equaliser in a match that finished 1-1 with Kenya losing the game on penalties. So they go into a 3rd and 4th placed playoff game early this week against someone who I'm not sure it is. I presume we'll see Zek line up. But fair play. Well done to Zek Obiero.
And his brother scored the winner for Wealdstone yesterday. It's a good goal as well.
To send them to Wembley.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, mental. Yeah, it was to send them to Wembley, yeah. Amazing week in the Obiero household. Saturday the 28th of March, the Young O's were in Youth Alliance action at home to Wycombe Wanderers and took the lead in the 27th minute as Adoru Johnson played a first-time pass into the box to Solomon Badibo, whose initial effort was saved but made no mistake with the second, slotting it past the keeper to make it 1-0 and then doubled our lead in the 36th minute through Jacob Lowe, and although the visitors did pull a goal back, we went in at the break 2-1 up.
All right, in the 56th minute, Claudio Nzang was brought down when through in the box, and the referee pointed to the spot and sent off the Wycombe defender. Like last week, Wycombe going down to 10 men. Naughty Wycombe, up-stepped Jacob Lowe. He scored the penalty to make it 3-1. Wycombe pulled a goal back in the 87th minute to make it a bit nervy. There were chances at both ends, but the game was sealed in the 96th minute. Jacob Lowe scored his hat-trick to make it 4-2, which was how the game ended, and well done to the Young O's on that one.
Indeed. Exeter City away was the main event of Saturday. Before the game, we ran a Twitter poll. We didn't have a particularly strong response to this. Only 92 votes were cast. 12% went for a loss, 14% for a win. For a draw, and 74% overwhelmingly went for a win.
All right, I think we can call this one the Jaden Wareham and Dimitri Mitchell derby. With both of those teams lining up against their former clubs at 1:45. The team was announced with Will Dennis in goal, Clare, Forrester, Simpson and Morris at the back, with Abdullahi Backinson making up the centre midfield, with Archibald Wellens, Mitchell and Ballard making up the 11. And on the bench, Cahill, Casey, Happy, Craig, El Mazzuni, Ollie O'Neill and Sonny Perkins.
So that meant there was one change for the O's from the team that beat Wycombe Wanderers last week, as Tom James unfortunately missed out through injury. He was replaced in the squad by Sean Clare. Your views when you saw that?
Exactly as I expected, although I did think Rishi might be leading us down a blind alley in his pre-match by saying Tom James was injured. So 10 out of 11 on Fan Hub with me. I thought Clare probably goes in as a natural kind of successor. At right back, although there was a lot of tweets that we had concerned about Sean Clare being in the starting 11. But other than that, Craig back on the bench at the expense of Favour for Wunmi, which surprised me a little bit. I thought Favour done all right when he came on.
Interesting.
In the closing stages against Wycombe. Maybe that's an injury, maybe not. I'm not sure that's kind of been said or been revealed. It definitely wasn't in Dave Victor's interview. So mostly as I expected. Good to see Omiz still on the bench. Ollie back in the squad is a welcome return. Pretty much as I expected off the back of 4 straight wins. You?
Yeah, no great surprises for me either. Hoping Tom James being absent isn't a big deal. I hope he's not out long term. But you're right, Sonny Perkins still takes his place on the bench. Hasn't really done anything of note, particularly. Whereas Favour, at least he gets you out your chair a bit. At least he looks like he wants to have a go. Whereas Sonny's so nonchalant. I don't know. I don't know what Richie sees in Sonny that would make him put him on over Favour, other than the fact that he's our player and not a lone player.
Quite possibly.
I don't know. You're right though. We did have an awful lot of views that came in off the back of that. A selection of them we've got here now.
Yeah, all right. Percival 1-5-4. So the O's have won their last 4 League One matches. Exeter are winless across their last 13 League One matches.
Yeah, went on for a crazy score prediction there. Brad Malloy said Clare starts questionable. Favour not even in the squad. Hardly any of the January loan recruits work then.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few more tweets to come about kind of the January window, but most of them weren't in that lineup yesterday. Apart from Will Dennis, I think it's probably fair to say. Gorillas, 1985. So looking forward to Clare's contract ending. It's a bit harsh there, Mark. At least, he doesn't fill me with confidence when he plays. Hopefully, the other 10 players carry him.
Lee, clearly not a fan. Tony Will, 490-69676 said, and I thought Levitt was our new saviour in midfield with Idris. Good point. Where's Dylan Levitt?
I presume because Backinson and Abdullahi are doing so well in the centre, and I presume because El Miz is on the bench, I'm not aware that Levitt is injured. I presume he just isn't getting in the squad. There's only so many places you can have for central midfielders. But then you could look at that and argue, should Levitt be in above Craig if he's available? So interesting one there. Obviously Levitt was shocking 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago now, should I say, when we played. I can't remember who it was at home, but he looked like a miles off it. So maybe he's not fit. Maybe he just can't get in the squad. Interesting, but yeah, that's a good point there about Levitt. David Carroll 1. So I'm guessing Clare will start at right back, and Abdullahi is being put at right back like Ethan was. Please say Tom James's injury is not as severe, and been saying for a few weeks someone is going to get spanked when this team clicks.
James O'Hagan with the penultimate word on the team says, given we're in good form, I get why Favour isn't starting, but if he's not injured, why is he not on the bench? Perkins must have an appearance clause.
Yeah, so a few, that led to a few questions, which I think are all pretty much valid questions that we got back. So it'd be interesting to kind of see what the updates are on those players this week. Does Levitt come back? Is Fulwilmy injured? Does Craig kind of maintain his place? So a few questions off the back of that.
Went off injured yesterday, didn't he, Craig?
He did.
Apparently.
Well, the match kicked off with the O's looking to make it 5 wins in a row against an Exeter City team with only one win in their last 13 as we look to pull further away from the relegation zone in League One.
We'll fast forward here to the 14th minute. Theo Archibald got the ball on the right, drove forward at the defender Andrew, sent a low shot towards goal. It's ended up saved by Bycroft at his near post. He wasn't the first choice starting keeper. I think their keeper got injured in the warm-up.
Yeah, good point.
We can attest to that kind of luck.
And Bycroft, was in the Football League Papers League One team of the day.
Was he really?
He was. He certainly was. The only Exeter player. And to be fair, there were no Orient players in that, but Bycroft was the keeper. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, 18th minute, and in 4 sub for the O's, off came Sean Clare. He was injured and replaced by Michael Craig. I think Richie said it was his shoulder.
Yeah, he went off holding his shoulder. 32 minutes now on the clock, and Exeter went close to taking the lead. Andrew sent in a looping cross from our right towards the far post. Former O Jaden Wareham got there first as his header bounced out of play. Bounced out of play via the outside of the post. Sorry, I can't read tonight.
That wasn't a bad effort there. I thought we done quite well.
Yeah.
To be fair, we were warned on that one. 2 chances in a frantic 43rd minute were next. One at either end, with firstly Will Dennis pulling off a diving save to deny Reece Cole, who had a shot from outside the box as the ball bounced out to him. And then from the resulting clearance from Craig, which was just a long ball forward, it was pounced on by Don Ballard after his defender misjudged the bounce. Ballard was in on goal. He thought surely now.
I was out my seat.
He thought surely the goal was going to rattle and the ball's going to hit it. But Ballard lofted his effort well wide of the goal, I think it's fair to say.
The disappointment in my house at that point, I was like, that's going to be a goal.
I think you would have put your house on Ballard to score on that one.
100, my mortgage would have been on that. 100%. And the disappointing look on his face when he saw it go wide. Such a shame. That was whoever pounded that forward. Craig. Absolutely superb. On point there. That was a tremendously dramatic minute. I mean, Richie said post-match that he doesn't remember that much of what Will had to make, what saves Will had to make. Will Dennis doesn't save that. That's a very different game that we're going in at half-time on. So that was a supremely important save that Will made there. And obviously, look, no issue with Don Ballard there. He scored goals. He's had no right to score at times. He's our leading scorer. He's helped us massively. So he knows he should have scored that. 5 minutes of additional time were played out. No talking points as the half came to a close. The team's going in goalless at the break.
All right, attendance announced at 6,772 with 587 fans making that long journey. So well done to everyone who went to Exeter City.
Yeah.
Double change at half-time as Idris El Mazouni and Dan Happy came on. They replaced Azim Abdullahi and Michael Craig. Was Craig injured then?
Apparently he'd hurt his hamstring.
Oh, fine.
I think Richie said post-match.
What luck?
How is your luck?
What luck?
I know. When I first saw that, I was like, "How's a substitute being substituted?"
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
That's like an insulting thing to do. But apparently he was injured. Apparently, 3 minutes into the half, Dan Happy was booked for fouling Wareham just outside the box.
Threw him around like a little ragdoll there, didn't he?
Yeah, didn't need to do that.
Yeah,
really.
54th minute in a corner from Charlie Wellens found Theo Archibald, whose goal-bound volley was flicked in by Tariq Backinson just outside of the goal. But Tariq, adjudged to be offside, his effort was ruled out.
He sadly was offside. Not sure he needed.
Well, it was bouncing all over the place. So had he not touched it, I'm not sure. Not sure that keeper would have held it or where the ball would have ended up going to. But
difficult one.
You go.
But yeah, I thought that was it. But then they flagged him for offside. Chance for the O's in the 61st minute. Much more improved from Leighton Orient, by the way. We're now just over the hour mark. Don Ballard capitalised on a misplaced back pass. He drove into the box, found Backinson, but his side-footed effort was blocked by one of the Exeter players. I think we've really come out this first sort of 15 minutes, first quarter of an hour here, and we've been much better. much better this half, looking much more dangerous.
Yeah, fair shout there. And the 66-minute chance down the other end for the host as Sweeney crossed the ball into the O's box. It wasn't dealt with. The ball came to Charlie Cummins, who fired over from close range. Only his second start is Charlie Cummins. I thought he looked quite tasty.
Should have done better there.
Yeah.
Third Orient change came in the 66th minute as Dimitri Mitchell was replaced by Ollie O'Neill.
All right, 69th minute then we'll go to. Don Ballard created some space, drove into the Exeter box, but his cross shot effort went just wide of the far post.
Yeah, that was definitely a shot. I think he was going for, he went near post and then sort of fired across goal. 73 minutes, Will Dennis denied Higgins with his legs as his shot from close range looked destined for the bottom corner following a driving run down our left by Niskanen. I thought Niskanen looked pretty decent, actually.
Always plays well against us, Niskanen.
Yeah, he does.
Good player.
Yeah, good player. But Dennis is having a really good game. Really keeping us in this.
Instills confidence.
Absolutely.
Good keeper. Good, yeah, decent save there. So happy with that one. Let's skip forward in 10 minutes to the 83rd minute. Theo Archibald picked up a booking.
He did. 4 minutes of additional time went up on the board. In the second minute, Will Forrester was booked for a foul on Bycroft. And really, there's nothing else to report. The referee blew the full-time whistle, with us making a 425-mile round trip home with a point.
All right, love to see it. So that point means the O's stay in 17th place now in League One. Played 39, won 14, drawn 7, lost 18, 49 points, and a goal difference of -7. It's so convoluted. Had we won that game, we would have been 12th.
Yeah.
Which would have been top half of the table.
6 teams.
Which sounds utterly ridiculous.
Separated by 1 point. It's
so
mental, isn't it?
Just shows you, if you have a good Easter, right, which we'll obviously come into, 3 fixtures in 9 days, have a good Easter, you cannot be in a ridiculous place. But if you have a bad Easter, alternatively, you can end up back fighting for it again. Yeah. Just literally such a topsy-turvy season. You don't know which way it's going to go. So Mr. Bidlejande, let's have your views on the Golden Straw.
It's a point. It's better than a loss at this particular point in the season. We could have won it. Equally, they had some good chances. They could have won it, but thanks to Will Dennis, they didn't. So I think overall, fair result. A game that really won't live long in the memory. We're now 5 games unbeaten, which, if we were sitting here a month ago, we weren't saying that.
3 weeks ago.
We were looking at relegation, really, and we still are to a greater or lesser extent. Exeter are only on 43 points. We're on 49. Like you just said, they have a good Easter and we don't. We're in the doodles again. Yeah. So, look, move on to the next one. We've got Wigan coming up next. That's our first focus, and let's see what happens there.
All right, fair point. Yeah, like you, always respect the point. So we're now 49. So pulling away from that slightly, but I think there's a few. I mean, Exeter dropped into the relegation places yesterday because Blackpool won.
Last minute.
It's going to get very tight. It's going to get very nervy. But a decent point, like you said, we could have won it if Ballard scores. It's probably a very different second half. But look, 2 clean sheets on the spin, taking a positive out of it, which is great. Forrester, again, and Simpson look pretty solid at the back. Yeah, not really too much to go into in too much detail. So fairly happy with that and where we sit, and we all look forward now to hopefully a fruitful Easter period.
Indeed, we do.
Watching the game. So yeah, we'll see. All right, lots of views. Well, quite a few views. A lot repeated, so there's not going to be too many in this pod this week. Sunshine LOFC said, considering the first half performance, there's not too much wrong with that point. 1 more win, and that should be that.
T-Mac return said, considering both teams in a relegation battle, I'll happily take that point under these conditions. Up the O's and unbeaten in 5.
Yeah, absolutely. Orient_Ed said, well below the bar we've set in the last couple of weeks, but it's another point on the board. I thought Mitchell done all right. Miz really shot it up when he came on, but we could easily have been behind by at least 2 at half time. Finished his tweet by saying Michael Craig needs to go.
Not a fan, Ed. Matty LOFC Evans said 2 points dropped and we're once again massively in the muck. 6 points off the drop with 7 games left is too tight for my liking. I'm disappointed is an understatement. Good work of the last few weeks. I'm done for me. I think that's
a bit harsh.
A bit harsh, yeah, because I don't see it that way. I see, like you just said, clean sheet. We're unbeaten in 5. If the season ended today, we wouldn't be relegated. We're okay. At the moment, a month ago, we wouldn't be saying that at all.
Well, that seems like a good point now. I mean, if we end up getting relegated by a point, and you might look back on this one and go, "Oh, actually, was that one where we could have done better?" But I think as it stands, I think it's a bit harsh there in that reasoning. Kid Sampson said, in the wider context of the season, the point was vital and welcome, but that was a miserable, borderline unwatchable performance in a desperately low quality game Forrester was probably my man of the match, but it's quite hard to care looking forward to the end of the season already.
Yeah, it's tiring now. Philip Wicello tweeted saying, 0-0 draws are rarer than you might imagine. Only around 5% of all matches in League One this season have ended goalless.
All right, Philip,
Great
thank you
stat.
for that. Daniel _D44 said a strange performance, very passive. We never had control of that game. Everything seemed rushed, with long hook passes up front and I hope Ballard could do something. A win would have pretty much guaranteed our safety, but at least we didn't lose. That's a good point. All the pressure would have been on Exeter, right, to win that one, because they knew they could have dragged us back in it, and they didn't. Still a 6-point buffer gap, and our goal difference is better. For all intents and purposes, although there's 7 games left, you can look at it and go, well, 6 points. A bit nervy. They're going to have to win quite a few of their games to even kind of get near us, so we'll see.
I have to say, if they carry on playing like that against the teams at the rest of for their rest of the season, I don't think they'll go down, because I thought they actually looked, they were still fighting for the badge. They didn't look dejected. They still looked like they wanted to have a go. Jaden Wareham is one of the top scorers in the division at the moment. Like, he's good for fantasy football points some weeks. So yeah, I think they'll be all right. If they play like that, or maybe we just may help them look better than they are.
Possibly.
I don't know. That always masks it, doesn't it? Sean Slater, THFC, said, respect the point. The run without a defeat, continues. Wasn't a great game. Too many long balls. Shout out to Dennis for the saves, and on to the next one.
Phil VZ1 said, no, classic there. Exeter were full of energy, but the pitch, sun, wind made it difficult for both teams. Improved in the second 45 and created chances, but happy with the point. Having moaned about officiating all season, at last a decent, consistent ref. Man of the match, Will, just over Don.
Fair enough. Callum BR official said, respect the point. It was a really poor and dull performance. Should have been a lot better when going into this game with 4 wins on the bounce. But it is what it is, I guess. Got to be better the next game.
Penultimate tweet goes to our Southdown chum, Vince Howard 73. He said, not the greatest of games. Seemed more about not losing than anything. However, considering all the goals we've conceded, 2 clean sheets on the spin. Who would have thought that?
And the final word is Falcon _Ori this week, who said it'd be a struggle to put a highlight package together for today, considering where they are in relation to us. It was important not to lose, and with the way we played, that was possibly the best outcome we could have got.
All right, so thank you for all the tweets during the week. Let us know if you agree or disagree with any that have been read out in this episode. You can do that by giving us a tweet or an Outlook. You can also find us on Instagram at Orient_Outlook_podcast. You can find us on Blue Sky. You can find us on Facebook, or you can email us at orientoutlook1881@gmail.com or at orientoutlook@outlook.com.
Indeed, you can. So let's move on then to the Prediction League update. Then Julian the Cabbie, Stephen 53422939, James O'Hara 04, and Spice Albert all get 3 points. Well done to you, because you all correctly predicted that the match would finish 0-0. So that means the top of the Prediction League currently looks like this.
All right, Kurt Mayle is in a prime position in first place on 22 points. 4 points behind him is Big TB47 on 18 points, and 1 point behind him is LOFC Teresa on 17 points. You can find the full Prediction League table on our Facebook page, and once again, thanks to everyone who has sent us in their predictions.
So that is quick. We are literally 33 minutes on the clock, and we're already on today, Sunday, the 29th of March. We've got a roundup for you from LOFCwomen.com, who say the red and white stripes of Brentford arrived determined to knock Orient out of the Greater London League Cup at the quarter-final stage. As you'd expect from a club of their stature, Brentford were organised, powerful, fit and fully committed. In fact, they became the only side this season to stop Orient scoring before half-time.
That's a great stat. The match followed a familiar pattern, the women in red gradually taking control, but this time they ran into a goalkeeper who looked every bit a future star. Supported by a strong defensive line, she refused to give away anything cheap, and with such a keeper, nobody wanted this tie drifting towards penalties.
It took 65 minutes of mounting Orient pressure before the Brentford barricade finally cracked. Once again, it was a moment of quality from top scorer Poppy Binding that unlocked the door. Her ball to the far post found Georgia Griffin arriving perfectly, and her clever flick put the home side 1-0 up.
All right, Brentford responded with the expected push for a leveller, forcing O's keeper Lola Ajay into action a couple of times, but the defensive trio of Macy Windsor, Hayley West and captain Grace Gillard kept things under control, limiting the danger throughout, and it was Gillard herself who settled the contest after 82 minutes, finishing smartly from a short corner routine to finally break the Brentford resistance.
We understand the semi-final is going to be against Luton Town in 2 to 3 weeks' time. That's in addition to the Capital Cup final that's set for the 26th of April. That's going to be hosted at Dorking FC. And with just 2 wins needed from the final 4 league matches, the O's are also closing in on the Premier Division title. It might be time to invest in a fresh tube of silverware polish. So they're in potentially contention
triple.
for 3 cups.
Love it.
Love
Great stuff.
to see it.
Great
Brilliant.
update as well from LFC Women. Thanks to everyone at LFC Women.
Been bang on point all season with their updates. Appreciate it.
They certainly have. And mate, amazingly, at 35 minutes, 18 seconds, one of the shortest Orient Outlook podcasts on record.
Years, yeah.
Let's wrap up this bad boy. So, fantasy football update. Chad Michael is top of the Orient Outlook podcast Fantasy Premier Football League. He leads the way just over 1,900 points. He's ahead of Nicholas Kraft in second place by about 15 points, give or take. I'm in 91st place out of 397 players.
Yeah. Abe Blower is top of the Orient Outlook podcast Fantasy EFL Football League. He's on whopping 3,053 points ahead of T. Cornwall in second place on 2,993 points. Steve's dropped to 10th. I've dropped to 24th. And that's out of 66 players. Made some absolute failure signings this week.
All right, positives and negatives. Wait, you can do the positives. Go on, you can take it away.
The point at Exeter, I think that's worth championing.
Decent, yeah.
And a clean sheet, fundamentally. You don't lose games if you don't concede. And look, we've got 4 wins and a draw, meaning that we're now 5 unbeaten.
All right, great shout. All right, negatives. We can only think of the one negative this week, and that's still the injury list. Obviously, to add to Aaron Connolly, who's still out. Obviously, he's running as far as we're aware, but it doesn't. Seems like the news on that's gone quiet, I would say.
Yeah.
I can't see him returning anytime soon. I'd love to be surprised or pleasantly shocked by that one. Obviously, Claire going off with his shoulder yesterday.
Michael
Tom
Craig.
James as well, not starting the game. Michael Craig. Who do you play at right back on Thursday, potentially? If Craig, Claire, and James potentially all unavailable.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah.
So
Back
some
3-5-2.
some big choices there for Richie. Do you put Casey at right back? Do you drop Theo back at right back and whack Ollie up the field? Interesting. I guess a few options. But we don't actually have any established right backs. Got players who can play there.
Yeah.
Actually,
agreed.
a right back playing at right back. We'll see what happens.
Absolutely. So hero of the week is going to be someone that has probably gone under the radar a bit, but we've mentioned his name quite a lot throughout the season. And this week's hero of the week is...
It's UC player Jacob Lowe, who's got a hat-trick on Saturday. Well done, Jacob.
Well played, Jacob. Excellent. Things you love to see. So next week's fixtures then. It's a busy Easter period coming up for the O's now over the next fortnight. We're off to Wigan this Thursday, the 2nd of April. They're 19th in the league, having another terrible season. They lost 3-0 away at Reading on Saturday. They've had a really indifferent last 6 games. They've won 2, drawn 2 and lost 2.
They're a much better home team than what they are away. I think it'll be a difficult game. Gary Caldwell sorted them out, and they've got Joe Taylor, who has been scoring at the DW Stadium for fun. Be a difficult one, that one.
Yeah.
I think it was across. Then after that game, we entertain Huddersfield Town. That's on Easter Monday, 6th of April. Huddersfield are 10th in League One. That isn't as bad as what it sounds. That actually isn't too many points away from the playoff places. So they have something to play for. They had no game this weekend. And you all have seen the sad news that their manager, Liam Manning, is on compassionate leave following...
The loss of his son.
Which was about 18 months ago.
It
but
was.
You never get
Terrible news.
over that. So
No.
they've got the same record as Wigan. 1-2, drawn 2, lost 2. So you don't know what Huddersfield Town team are going to turn up. There's lots of talent in that team. So
agree.
We'll see.
It's going to be tough.
Really tough.
And then completing our Easter fixtures, we are going to be going up to Lincoln on League Leaders on the Saturday the 11th of April. Of their last 6 games, obviously this will come as no shock to anyone. They won 5 and drawn 1.
They're going up, mate. I think
They are
crazy.
champions elect. They're on 84 points. Bolton in 66. There's Bolton have got 18 points to play for. 18 on top of 66 gives you 84. So it could happen. Bolton draw or lose this weekend, and Lincoln win. They get promoted.
Well,
it's just who goes as champions.
Well, the
will be between them
Lincoln
and
game,
Cardiff.
kick off at 12:30, isn't it? It's on Sky Sports Plus.
Okay.
The cameras are there to see Lincoln get promoted, basically.
Right. Okay.
So we will see what happens with that one. If you're going to any of those games, have a safe journey and tweet us at any point to complete your match day experience. So don't forget to get in touch with John and his fantastic team of experienced florists at Carroll Langley. Give them a call on 0208 529 4130, or get in contact via social media at Cal Langley E4. You can find John at Essex Biz. They're also on Instagram at Cal Langley Florist and on Facebook at Carol Langley Florists.
So that is it. Thank you very much indeed for joining us for episode 424 in what has been one of the quickest ones we've done in quite a long time. A fairly non-eventful matchup. The O's took a point in a goalless draw at Exeter City in a match that really won't be remembered at all, leaving us fairly strong in a fairly strong position outside the relegation places in League One as we go into a tough and very busy Easter period. But we'll be looking forward to hopefully extending our unbeaten run over this time and talking about all the goings on at Orient in the next episode of the Orient Outlook podcast.
All right, if you're listening on iTunes, please subscribe, give our podcast a 5-star rating. Or if you're listening on Spotify, like we said earlier, don't forget you can rate the show and you can leave a comment on each episode. So please do that if you get a chance. And if you are listening on a different provider, you can follow us on there or add us to your favourites. That way you get all the episodes as soon as they're made available. We are also on all smart speakers. We're on the Fan Hub app. We are also on YouTube. So listening to the podcast has never been easier, or watching the podcast. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, comment on any format, any player that you're listening or watching on.
Yeah, if you've got an older relative, a loved one, an Orient chum, someone who you think would be interested in what's going on at Leyton Orient, grab their phone for them, download it and pass the pod.
All right, we'll be back with episode 425 in 2 weeks. I am away for Easter, so is the bearded legend, so there is no podcast over the Easter period. So we are back 2 weeks this evening on Sunday, the 12th of April, with all the information and views that you could ever need. We look forward to hearing from you, and as always, keep calm, stay safe, have a great fortnight, have a great Easter, have a great break if you're going away, and listen to the Orient Outlook podcast.
Up the O's.